Oh, hello. I'm just checking the lighting because I don't know why, but this seems to overkill guitars. But when there's a lot of white around, and at the moment there isn't a lot of white around, so hopefully it's all kind of hanging in there. Anyway, how are you doing? This is Sam here in the Real Love Guitars workshop with our trusty friend Morris, who's keeping an eye on proceedings, making sure that what I'm doing is correct. And today I'm just getting lined up to change out these pickups and replace them with what am I replacing them with? Some brand new Wilkinson pickups. So a nice exchange here for stuff that isn't so good, changing it out for stuff that is good. So this is a bit cluttered and probably not the best view in the world. I've got the camera on the other side for a change. Anyway, all that needs to happen here is to for us to change out two sets of pickups, and all I have to know is where they go. Of course, one goes to one volume pot and the other goes to another. This needs some stuff on there to take away the whatever that stuff is called, glue. Right, so here's the back of the guitar. I'm keeping it raised because I don't want to put pressure on the toggle switch. So we have yeah, wow, what have we got? Let's discover where things go and where things come from. We've got one set coming through here, which, to be honest, I'm going to just cut because I don't value particularly either of those pickups, so I'm just going to cut them for the ease of replacing them with new ones. So out you go. That's one. Question is, where's the other one? It's here. And it's the black one. So we've got a grey one and a black one. And the grey, I'm just going to draw this on while I write this down. Four pots as I can see them. This one here is grey. Morris is a bit worried about the pen. And this one coming to here is black. So it just tells me which is which. It sounds obvious, but you can so quickly forget and miss these things out. And again, I'm going to cut this thing off so that it allows me just to pull these things out. So back over onto this side. This is this guitar is, the action on it at the moment is just wonderful. I've not played one as good as this, having done the precision fret leveling, but it's the best I've done in a long time. So I'm looking forward to how it's all going to come together when I've got the new pickups in. Kindly Morris has moved off to one side. He's changed his location. Oh, he's given up. Now he's going to go on to... He's going out the door. He's had enough. Okay, so I've got a new neck and a new bridge pickup. The neck is already in cream, so that should be a direct replacement. The bridge, I need to change over the housing. So, wow, blimey, we've got plenty of wire attached to that. No idea what this is, but it's pretty hot. I might test it on the meter later on. So actually we've got quite a short length to be working with here, which I have to let's start by feeding it through. What I'll do, a little tip I learned the hard way, is when it comes to feeding a group of these wires together through the hole, I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on them to keep them together, just so that they behave as one, otherwise it just won't go through the hole or through the cavity. Right, so well, that's the correct position. The wire now comes off the opposite side to the hole, which is a bit odd. I don't quite understand it. So this is now going through, and if we can get it all the way into the cavity, that's great, because then we can just put this one back on and tack it into place. and it will do if I can just get that wire out of the way. There we are. So I'm just going to lightly pin that one back in. See where the holes are, line them up okay. This is had quite a few V100s before, and this is turning out so far a favourite of a lot of them. And I'm not sure if it's because of the technique I'm using to level it, but it's turned out really precise and well, so I'm kind of happy with that. Okay, so remove this one. Again, we'll pull this one out whilst feeding through the wires to make sure they go through the back, but at the same time I'm going to switch over this cream surround onto the new pickup. These are Wilkinson hot humbuckers, so they do what they say, they are quite hot. Blimey, that's interesting. That it's got sort of two layers here. That grey cable doesn't even come through this compartment, which is unusual. But with a bit of luck we should find it exiting. Well, we haven't got that luck, so we're not finding it exiting, which is not brilliant, because you can't actually reach the bleeding thing. Oh dear. Which could explain why the one I took out had an extension on it, because I think it's going to be necessary to do the same with this one. I can see the wire down here. I can push it through a bit. We may get it to exit the hole if I'm lucky. I'm not really sure how much I'm moving it each time, I was just springing back. No, it's not even showing its ugly face. Right, so annoyingly I'm just going to take this off again and just have a look at this, because unless we can get this to feed all the way through, we'll be struggling. Normally on most Les Paul copies, the bridge pickup, the first pickup here, feeds through directly into this cavity here, so you've got quite an easy access, I suppose you could say. It makes it quite easy to push it through, because you can feed it through. I may have just about got it through this time. Let's have a look. Blimey, still. Oh, it's come through, but I think that's not going to be long enough. Just through. Oof, that's tight. We are barely long enough to do it. Well, on the principle that it is long enough, although not as much as I'd like, let's see if it's possible to do it. I'll screw this back on for now, and then we'll assess it in a minute. If it's just doable, there's no point adding more wires to it. If it's doable, but if it absolutely isn't, then we'll go backwards and put some more wire on. I'm just going to have a sort of an estimate. If it even presents any difficulty getting it to reach the tops of the pots, we'll backtrack. So the gold pickup that's come out of this guitar is a G&B company pickup, and it's Korean made, and people say they're not too bad, but it doesn't have very high output for starters, and it isn't very distinctive, so not sure what to make of it. I've done a bit of research, showed that Some people quite like them. Apparently the company that manufacture all the pickups that go into Far Eastern made PRS guitars, so they shouldn't be bad. But it certainly didn't match the other one that was already on this guitar, this one over here, the black one. They were very mismatched in terms of output. So not a good pair to go together. Okay, so we've got our surround off to one side there. We'll take this one off here. We'll just put them in the spare pickups department. It may find a use for them some other time, either in a homemade guitar or something, you never know. I suspect the black one will get more of a use than this gold one. Boring. Apologies if there have been some sound issues recently. I've not spotted them on the go, and I've tried to check back. Problem is, once I've done them, then there isn't really anything I can do about it. Certainly not able to go back and re-record. Doesn't really work like that for me. Without meaning to sound rude or something, at the risk of sounding rude, the reason I make these videos is it's to help, if I can get this thing on, the reason I make these videos is to show work that's been done on guitars that I'm selling. So that's kind of one of the principal reasons, and it's not in a way as a public service first and foremost. I'm very glad that if they help people make sense of certain jobs that they have to do on a guitar, but that isn't their primary reason, and they're not a product as such, so I'm not selling them, and therefore it's difficult to go backwards and put a lot of time into correcting anything. So if they have occasional bad sound, I'm afraid that's how they're going to stay, but I am doing my best to make sure that what happens after that, if there was poor sound, that we've got it set up so it should be alright now. And if there isn't, then if there's a problem still, then I will go back and see if we need to upgrade our technology in some way or other. But right now, I think it should be working okay. This is taking a while to do up. I should be using the power driver, but hey. Right, so I've got some bunched wires that I again want to fit through this cavity, which should be enough, and this time it exits on the right side, which is a bit odd. One does and one doesn't, and they are the correct pickups. Whereas in fact this one that was currently in the, or came out of the bridge position, this one has marked R on the back, which I suspect is supposed to mean rhythm, which would be the neck position technically. So I don't quite know what was going on there, but whatever it was, the issue's now taken care of. Tack this one down on two. I'm not going to go all of them because we may need to remove it, particularly if I have to extend any of these wires. The bridge one will be fine, it's just the neck one. It's a bit of a stretch. Okay. So we come over the back, again support the guitar, probably lower is better in this case. And here's our grey one, that's fine, and here's our, where's our other one? Here's our, whatever it is. So the black one here, original one was the, this is the neck pickup, we know it's grey, and the same sort of colour sequence as before, so grey to this one, black around to this one, so it's all looking good. Let me take these bits off, and this one slightly worries me because of the scarcity of room to work, so I'm gonna have a little poke about and see. First of all, let's get the this one out of the way because we don't need it right now. We have got very little room at all. That's not needed. Can we bend? We can bend the black one around to meet the top of the pot. That shouldn't be a problem. Can we get the yellow one round in a full swoop? This is, I can't even see where these things connect to the pots. It's a bit of a mess around here. Blimey. Gonna need some extra headlights. What have I got that will work? Not much. You can see probably as well as I can at the moment, which isn't saying much. Blimey. Gee, that is a very tight arrangement. I don't know what is what in here. Okay, the black one, we got, it's interesting. Okay, only one of these pickup wires is, okay, they've tied an extra, on this one here they've tied an extra wire to the grounded an extra wire, so there's an extra green one. So we've got the black one going as it should. Wow, I don't understand this. How strange. So the pickups on this guitar are going to the middle pot. Sorry, the middle lug of the pot. Yikes. And then there's two outputs here. One is going to the tone, and the other one is going out to the switch. This is a weird wiring setup. So like I said, we've got the red wire in this one, well, it's yellow in this one. Blimey. The red and the green, sorry, the white and the green on this one. The white was doubled back. Oh no, wait a minute, there's two double back. 5 wires in this. What kind of pickup was that? This is bizarre. I'll just try and release this from the top of here and show you. So that's the top, and this one live one, hot one, goes to the middle, but I'm just going to pull this out for now. See what we had. So this is confusing me. We've got a tied back pair, which we expect, and we've got 5. I haven't seen that before. And they've used a red one to go to hot, and they've used an earth bare one to go to earth as well. So they've made a pair of these. The green and the bare go to earth. The pair tied back here like you'd expect, and the hot one going to the centre lug of the pot, which I have never seen before. So this is non-standard wiring. Doesn't really help me much. So what I am going to do is I'm going to, well, it's not this one we're working on, it's the, God, there's so much wire in here. Now we've got these spare ones over here, and I can't really tie them back against the body of the wire, so in the absence of that, the best thing I can do is probably put a bit of tubing around them and just have them so they don't touch anything at all, and they probably should be easy enough to do, but they'll be kind of dangling around in amongst it. So that's what I want to do. Find my hot thing. I want it high enough up to seal off the, get these out of the way for a minute. There's just too much spaghetti around here for my liking. I'm not a great wiring fan as it is, but okay. Come on, shrink down. There you go. And you just, doesn't matter if it burns a little bit. Right, so that will have hopefully just tied off that end a bit, kept it from touching things. I'm going to just do the normal thing here, which is to take the earth and earth it, or ground it. Give me a little bit more room. It's wax covered, or so, I think it's wax anyway, and then I've got enough room in there. Okay, so just to begin with, I've got not a lot of room in here, so I'm going to try and bend a couple of things out of the way. And what I want to try and do next is find a way of just holding everything as far as possible out of the way. Not quite sure what will do best for that. A bit of heavy tape might just hold it there. I just really want to sort of flatten it down out of the way. Stay. Yeah, maybe. So that one to the middle, this one to the top. So the hardest bit will be getting this fella around, bending it back into the middle bit. Should be able to do it. It's just, but we will need the soldering iron, obviously, and we'll need it in good working order. Let's move these pickets out of the way. Not required. Yeah, so not a lot of room. As I said, I've never seen this particular configuration before, but I have to assume that it's entirely possible. I want to put an extra, I don't want to go to this great single blob on here because I don't like the look of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare a little bit more of the surface of that pot to accept. Oh, hi Morris, you're back. Damn. Just going to rough the far side of this pot up a bit to give me some, if I can, give me somewhere else to melt some solder onto. That'll do. I'll do the same in a minute for the other side. When we get round there, you need to stay down here, Morris. Yeah. Yeah. It's on here. It's for you. There. It's all your space. Stay there. Not over here. Over there. Okay. Yeah, that's funny. A 5-wire pickup. I wonder why that's such a thing. Morris, this isn't what I need you to do right now. Come on, we've been through this many a time. Go back on the stool by the fire. Yeah. Don't come back, please. Good, he's got into taking care of his fur. Let's move a couple of these spare bits out of the way for now. No, Morris, you either stay there or you go on the stool. Okay. I don't have any wet thing, so I may need to get some water in a minute. There'll be plenty outside. That's what I'll do. If I can just trust Morris to stay put for a minute, I think he'll come with me. Oh, Morris. we go, a bit of rainwater come into use. Right. Hello. Hello, Father. Oh, hello. Oh, didn't mean to do that, but there we are. I'll edit this bit or something. Anyway, look, the point is, while I was taking that phone call to my dad, I was looking at the wiring on this thing, and I tested the new pickups. Once the wiring, I wired it up basically and tested the pickups, and the same thing happened, which was the bridge pickup was absolutely non-existent, almost non-existent, which then brought my attention back to this setup, and I can tell you that my suspicions were confirmed. This is being wired by somebody who has got it wrong, and I'm not knocking them because I'm by no means a wiring expert myself, but having said that, what I do know is this just wasn't right at all. There were connections going all over the place which were no good at all, and it's clearly, although I can't tell where they went or how many times they were over duplicated, these connections, I can tell you that it wasn't doing, it would be why the bridge humbucker wasn't playing. So maybe that K and B or G or whatever it is a lot better than I gave it credit for at first, but one of the reasons why it was not playing is because of the lousy, complex and basically incorrect wiring. So basically I've gone through this and I'm stripping out just undoing all the wires because they were definitely all wrong, and I'm going to rotate all these pots back to where they should be facing, but roughly, if I can, and then I'm going to tighten them up in that position, and we're going to get a diagram, a very straightforward Les Paul diagram, and go from there. I mean, this should give you the hint. Look at this. There's this much. Why have that much wire? You don't need that much wire coming off here at all. It's just going to create masses of excess wiring, cluttering up the whole cavity, so you can't do anything or see what's going on. So that's one of the things I'm going to do, is tidy up or shorten all of these wiring heaps, so we don't just have to deal with this excess stuff, filling it up with spaghetti, making it impossible to get anywhere. So I've got the pickup wires taped off to the side, I've got this covered up anyway just to protect it, and I've got the other wires stripped back to a reasonable length of shortness, and I'm going to track them through where they should go to make sure that they go to the right places from the switch. Right, so we've got, what we have here is we've got an earth wire from the bridge, we've got two twin core wires from the switch, which were going to the wrong places, and sorry, we've got the twin core wires here, which are quite short now, but they're long enough still to do the job. And then we've got the red one, which is the one that's going to go back to the jack plug, but this time at a reasonable length that doesn't have to, you don't have to carry around tons of wire. So a bit of a halt on all of this, but we've got to do it right since it wasn't. And we'll come around and do this properly with the, what do you call it, thing, device thing, and I'm just going to get rid of all this mess to begin with and clear this space a little bit. Move these screws off to one side. Yeah, so I'm going to go and now I'm going to get it up on the screen because I've got my computer in here. So I'm going to get a cup of tea and pull up the wiring diagram, the simple wiring diagram for the Les Paul, and follow that one, which I've done plenty of times before and which works. Where is it gone? Is it this colour one? Yay! So where do we have it? Simple wiring and Les Paul. We'll get there in a minute. It's in here somewhere. So they do a Strat Telecaster followed by Les Paul. Here we go. There's the wiring diagram. It's a bit big, so let's shrink it down. Okay. Middle. So in this diagram, we've got the capacitors going from middle to top, middle to earth. So here they go from end to earth. So straight away, those are completely different setup. So everything about it's different. So I'm going to take my time with this. I'm not going to rush it. And to help me get this right, I'm also going to pull off these knobs again. Sorry, you are backed into this corner here a bit. And pull off these knobs again so that I can what am I going to do? Oh yes, tighten up the pots or even remove them if I need to get new ones on there. You can buy a special tool for that, but I use these soft bits of plastic sometimes, and if they don't come off then I have to use my brute force, which you can just about do with two hands, and you become a pair of very strong pliers, two hands gripping, so it does work. Okay, so I'll give them a clean. Okay, so I'm going to save you a bit of boredom here because I'm going to plod my way through this diagram step by step, and I've got a bit of fresh wire I'll use as well, so I can rewire this to get the best out of these Wilkinson pickups, because basically that was the reason, this crappy wiring was the reason why that G and B or whatever it was humbucker was not sounding any good. And for all I know, if it had been wired properly, it might have sounded half decent. So that at least is encouraging for if I want to use it again. So right now I'm going to just take my time and I'll put the radio on so I can sort of concentrate. I don't like particularly filming soldering, partly because I don't have any great wisdom to impart, because it's I'm a newcomer to it really myself, and secondly because you really can't see at this magnification what the hell's going on anyway, so it doesn't really provide you with anything worth watching that you can learn from. So okay, and this is all in a funny position as well. Right, sorry, I will come back to you when that bit's done and we'll just restring and then we'll play. And we're back again, and I cut out all of the hard work on this guitar, and look, guess what we've got? A beautiful finished Les Paul copy made by our friends Vintage. And the reason why I paused and cut out the electrics is because basically within a couple of minutes of looking in there, worked out that it was all completely screwed up. Everything was the wrong way around. So it was nothing for it but to strip everything out and start from scratch, which I did, and now we have a nice playing Les Paul copy. In fact, beautiful playing Les Paul copy with brand new Wilkinson thingies, you know, pickups, which is pretty nice to see them shining away there. All that really remains to do on this guitar is to just plug you in there. Is to do the intonation on it. And I'm half expecting. I haven't got my other tuner, but I've got my phone one, and it's going to be making a noise. Sorry. I'm half expecting to find the settings are wrong on here because they look like they've been set to their limits anyway, and it's also it seems to be that every Vintage V100 that I've worked on, I think probably every single one has turned out to be impossible to intonate without removing some of the individual bridge saddle pieces and rearranging them, turning them around basically, so you get a little bit more intonation room out of them. This isn't the best strap in the world, but it'll do for now. So it's the action's playing nicely. I'm just going to plug it in. Bring up the little amplifier for the intonation part, so you need to be able to, well, it's good to be able to see this thing. Ooh, big noise. Really nice tone, that neck pickup, even if we put it into a anyway. What we're looking to do is to do the intonation, which is making sure that each string is exactly the right length for this guitar. Now, to do that, we're going to need a flathead screwdriver. The intonation screws are on this side, which is the conventional way, but it's also the hardest way to get to because you've got the pickups in the way. Anyway, somebody's clever idea. I prefer them when they're on the other side. It makes it easier to get to because you've got a natural angle. But there we go. Right, so what are we looking for? We're looking to tune each string one by one on the 12th fret using the harmonic ping. Get as close as you can get and then fret the same note. You can see straight away from the tuner that the fretted note, which should be the same, is actually quite a lot. Bloody, I tell you, I can't, these guitars, there's something wrong with them. So each time I do a Vintage V100, I think to myself, something's wrong here, maybe I'm getting something wrong. Okay, so the intonation test: harmonic, roughly tuned, fretted, it's flat. When a note is flat, when you do the intonation test, it means the string is too long, which means you've got to adjust the bridge saddle coming this way to shorten it. You can see probably straight away that I may have a little bit of movement to go in this direction, but not much. Let's go to the let's go straight to the D, which is already at its stop, because I know from the pattern it will probably go 1, 2, 3, stagger forward 1, 2, 3. and I'm judging straight away that these two are nowhere near intonatable. So let's do the D. It's actually not quite so bad. This is weird. It's a little bit flat. Yeah, well, it's not so bad, but it is bad if we can't get any movement out of it, and I suspect we're not going to be able to get any movement out of it, which means to get the movement I need, I'm going to have to remove the, no, it's already at the stops. So, as I predicted, I'm going to need to take the bridge off and turn these three around. I'm looking at these, which is worrying me straight away, because if these are up against the stops and they're already turned around in that direction, then there is no more. If they don't intonate, there's nowhere else we can go. Take the reverb off. Close, so that's pretty much on. That's very close as well. I might be alright. So that's flat, which means it's too long. Luckily we have some intonation room here. Thankfully this one has plenty of room. We can turn it and drag it forward. So turning it clockwise brings the saddle this way. Let's see what we've got now. That's good. Just looking at my foam thing here, which is just about to touch the string, so I might need to move that. You can see straight away that's flat. It needs to be shortened and there's nowhere we can go, so I'm not going to bother going any further. Time to do what I've had to do on every single vintage guitar, V100 I should say, that I've had to work on. Well, I haven't had to work on, I've worked on. I've had to change these around, and it's too many times to be a coincidence. This is going to cost me this set of strings anyway, because I don't want to frankly I don't want to attach these again. I've already had these on for the first set of pickups. I don't mind, I'll write these off while using the test strings, and I'll put a new set on now once we've done the saddle turnaround. This is very, very weird. I would love to know what it is that makes this impossible. I mean, it can only be the position of the bridge. It's the only thing that makes any logical sense. Must be the bridge is just slightly misaligned. And if you think about it, it wants to come forward, and it's almost as if the bridge needs to tilt forward a little bit more. Fraction, maybe a fraction of an inch, but maybe a millimetre or so, and we're maybe 2 millimetres, but we're definitely running out of intonation room on those strings. So I've got to now try and get these individual strings out of here and keep them for another day, but they do tend to get hooked up in all the other strings, and they're very sharp as well. Oh, it's weird. I haven't got any, apart from the position of the bridge, I've got no other ideas as to what could be causing that. So if you do, I'd be really interested to hear what you think, because the great thing about having all of these things on video is if you were to go back and look at the various other vintage V100s, you'll probably see me, no doubt you would see me with each of them coming to this point and going, damn, and having to take the strings off or raise them up, certainly. And I remember doing a couple of others where I literally lifted the strings up and kept them as much as I could under tension while I took the bridge out. I'm kind of taking the easy way out here. I'm just going to put some new strings on. So what we do is we take the bridge saddle off, and I'm going to take out these little foam bits for now because they're getting in my way. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these three individual ones out. And I'll dig out the foam things designed, I can get some more, designed to stop them rattling. Right, so basically I'm going to pull these out if we can. I don't quite know how these actually come out, just with a bit of a tug really. It always feels a bit wrong. So I'm going to just keep them in the order they're in for what it's worth. Leave them in that order. It just seems wrong that they have to be pushed out by brute force, but it's a little bit crude, and that's basically it. So here's our three in the order they're going to go back in. So I'm going to take each one out and turn it round. I don't know where you can see this. Each one out, turn it round, push it back in. Try and push it back in from the other side. Should work. And do the same for this one. So we've basically shown that the higher ones, the higher notes, the E and the B and the G, are intonating just about, but it's the lower three that aren't, hence this turnaround. It just gives you that little bit of extra room to intonate. And then once you put them together again, you've got to then squeeze them back into their into the slots, and this isn't easy either because it's not really built to go back in. There you go, a bit of force again. It just doesn't feel right, but you have to do it. Come on. No. Oh, it can be so. These things can be so fiddly when you don't have small hands. Okay. There we have it. The three. Now, what I know is this is going to need to be pulled forward a long way. This is going to need to be fairly well forward, unless I'm wrong and it can't even intonate even after I've done this, but I'm hoping it will. Okay, so I've set them where I think they broadly would be. I'm just going to put the foam back in here to stop the noise, the rattling noises, but I'm going to do it on all of them. I'm going to make sure the foam's at the back, just so that it doesn't run the risk of touching the strings this time on the front. There was just a slight chance of that last time, but it should be fine. Again, clumsy big hands, annoying fiddly thing. I have to be very patient with myself when it comes to this sort of stage, so I don't get annoyed and feel like I can't do anything. Come on, big fingers. Okay, I need one more piece of foam, which I'll get from here. My endless foam supply. So this can be really annoying if you've got so far into a setup and you come to this last bit and discover that you've got to do this bit again, or you've got to stop, take the strings off and turn the saddles around. Well annoying, but that's all you can do to get it right. I wouldn't want to leave it. Ah, come on, fingers. No, my hands are too big. I need a smaller implement, like for example this little Allen key. Sorry, this is so boring. I want to get on to restringing it and finishing the intonation so we can wind up, but that's the old thing, you've got to stick it out to the end to get this bit right. Okay, that's pretty much all in place. Okay, so I've got the reset saddles all backed up now with foam to stop it rattling, which is great. That's in place. Time for a new set of strings. And here we go again. Should be sort of simpler than it was a little while ago, because putting strings on is a right pain when you've got a curly bit at the end already. That just seems to take forever. Okay, so straight on, once over the top of the loose string, and then fold it up, press it under so it goes under the loose one until we're tightened. It's a lovely looking guitar generally though, and it plays really well now, so it's worth the time invested in it. But I can see now why it was low priced when I got it. I thought I got an absolute bargain, but whoever put it up for sale on cash converters had probably tested it and found that the pickups weren't working properly, and therefore the wiring was naffed up. And that's exactly what I found. But it was it's a bog standard Les Paul setup, twin humbucker setup, nothing complicated about it. So although I'm not the best solderer in the world, it's still not a major problem to fit some new wiring, replace all the old stuff. And it was just much easier to go back to square one than it was to try and unpick what was wrong, because there were wires jumping from one thing to another all over the place. There were duplicate wires crossing over to things. There were, I don't know, it's just all over the place. Mad. It's no wonder it didn't work properly anyway. So simpler just to get the soldering iron hot and get it all, strip it all out and start again. At least you know exactly what's what by the time you've finished. So this is great if it's a sunny-ish day tomorrow. I'll get this one photographed and listed. pressing it down and going under the free string until it tightens up. And then position it, make sure it's on the bridge before you put it under too much pressure. And in the workshop right now, arriving today in the post, was another Yamaha SE 350. This one's already found a new owner before we've even received it, started work on it. But this is for Trish, a friend of my sister's, and or for Trish's daughter, teenage daughter. And it all began with me borrowing setting up my sister's one, and she had an HSH configured one, original one from 1986, and had it all these years. And I took it on a visit. I picked it up and brought it home and set it up, and I loved it so much that I decided to find one for myself, which I did. Although I got the double humbucker version, and meanwhile my sister has lent her version to her friend Trish, and Trish's daughter has been playing it, and so she's kind of fallen in love with it. So I found another H1 for her, and that will be the next one up in the workshop. And it's a better condition one than mine is, so it should be a pretty straightforward one to do, but a pleasure to do as well because it's such a nice condition. On top of that, I've got another old vintage Les Paul copy coming, and this time it's the much hated Hondo 2. I'm trying to, over time, build up a collection of supercharged, turbocharged, all the models that everybody hated when we were kids because they were such lousy quality. I'm going to soup them all up and make them really play brilliantly well. So I've got a K and an Avon done, and they're just lovely to play. And now I'm going to take one that I think one of the contributors to the Real Love Guitars Facebook page reckoned would be impossible to make play well. So I'm hoping to prove them wrong, and that I'm confident I can, given the fact that I practically rebuild the whole thing, give it a new frets, and it's almost a new guitar. So we tune apart from each string to its pinged octave on the 12th fret, which is an E, and then we fret it. What can be quite confusing is when you hit a string like that, you're hearing two notes at once. You're hearing that one and that one. So it's really difficult to not to confuse your tuner. You have to be quite careful. So then it's a case of hitting it with, not pressing down on this, but holding that one down but deadening the one behind it. I think that's good. Hear the two notes, it's really confusing. You can hit them twice. Hear that? It's just mad, but it happens. Okay, that's just a little aside there. So we're hitting the 12th fret and hitting the fretted 12th, and that's the same. Slightly sharp, so I'm going to push that back a little bit. Can't remember which way it needs to go. Counterclockwise? No, the other way. Sorry, counterclockwise is the correct way. hard to get it. Still slightly sharp, so I'm going to keep going counterclockwise with that one. Push the G-string saddle back a little bit. Now it's showing flat, so I need to come forward a little bit. I don't quite trust these things. I'm not a great fan of the Tune-o-matic bridge and the way it reacts to the intonation process, to be honest. Seems much easier on a Strat. That one's still saying sharp, so I'm going to keep bringing it forward a little bit more. Close. Close. Sharp. Lengthen this. You may have noticed that I have turned around these saddles to give myself a bit more room, which I think I needed. 3 of them anyway. Push that back a little bit further, still a tiny bit sharp. It's a horrible arrangement, this. Invented by a fiend. So on, it's good. Sharp. Push this back. Okay. I've decided to continue using this tuner hereafter because I was trying to do this with the application on the phone, and I've decided it's no longer up to the job, so I'm going to retire it. There we go, that's just about okay. So, having set the intonation, we're now pretty much done. Just going to tune it once more. for a quick listen to it, and I think we should be done then. Okay, there we have it, off, finished, done. So, quick intonation check using the Korg chromatic tuner, which is now taken over from the phone, because I did it prior to that with the phone and it wasn't giving me very accurate readings. So I'm going to let this thing, take it indoors, let it kind of settle overnight, stretch those strings a bit more, and I'll come back and work on this one next. But for the meantime, that's it for tonight. So thank you for hanging about in the shed on this Monday evening in November. And there we go. I look forward to seeing you on the next video, which will be this very handsome Yamaha SE 350H. Classic vintage 1980s. By the way, if you're wondering what this is my homemade SG that I put together from a kit. Went back about a year and a half, no, nearly 2 years ago nearly. Wow, 2 years ago, yeah, 2 years ago. Doesn't time fly? Anyway, that's what started me off on all this, along with the tail up baby. Anyway, so thanks for watching and see you again soon.